innovative content, global audience.
Good morning to you. A very, very beautiful morning to you. Yes, it's a beautiful Tuesday at the KRIS. Yeah. This is Wake Up Nigeria. Yes, we have decided to wake you people up. Since you people refuse to wake up, we are here to wake you up all the way from London. Yes, good morning to you and good morning, sir.
I hope I'm not on the hot seat. Right? Good morning, Nigerians. I say it's good morning, waking you up. What a day.
Yes.
I hope it's a good wake up.
Yes, it is a good wake up. Yes, we have a lot of issues coming in from Nigeria this morning. A lot. Politics, business, and a lot of economy issue as well. And we're going to kickstart with the reviews of the papers this morning. But before then, Daddy KRIS, let me ask you now, what's your take on this issue of, Tinubu moving to stop Chicago University? Now, he's restraining them to particular, okay, you can do this, but you cannot do this. So if you went to that school, right? You are from that school. So why are we giving restraining order to the university?
I don't know what the drama is because sometimes I find it difficult to believe what is really going on.
Anyway, hold that thought, Daddy KRIS. My name is Princess KESSY, and this is Wake Up Nigeria. You're welcome to the show I have with me this morning.
The old man, Daddy KRIS, is here.
Yes, Daddy KRIS is here this morning. Yes, we're going to kickstart this morning. Like I did say, we have a lot of trending issue. We saw also, I don't know what's happening with APC and the Kanu ex-emir Sanusi. We're going to see all that this morning.
Is he coming back?
No, he's really throwing a lot of tantrum this past few days at APC, and then we have a lot of other issues. I saw a story as well that is trending that coming from Taraba State, where the governor is alleging that the former governor did empty the treasury before leaving office.
Now, this from Taraba State.
Yes, from Taraba State.
That's what we want to see. Let the governors begin to check themselves, because you can't tell me that all your past did well and no report, and I think that's a good step in the right direction.
And then also there's this particular disease that is related to throat, nose, and mouth that is ravaging a part of Nigeria. That is something we're going to look at as well. Please, I think needs to take precautions right away. Anyway, let me kickstart with the newspaper reviews this morning. We're still going to have just maybe some of our correspondent in Nigeria join us on the program this morning. But before then, let's kickstart with the reviews of the papers. And I'm going to start with the Daily Sun. Now, these are some of the stories coming from Daily Sun this morning. The main headline here says Tinubu moves to stop Chicago University, wants institution not to release details on gender, transcripts, others academic records, but only certificates. Now, this is the major headline here. And also we have a story here that says ex-Kanu Emir Sanusi hits APC hard. Says government under ruling party has set Nigeria 40 years backwards. And this is coming from the ex-emir this morning. We also have a story here, a relieving one that says abducted 13 Zamfara students, 3 others regained freedom. And that story is on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. As well, we have a story here coming from Obi that says seeking investors abroad, waste of time. That is coming from Obi. LP, taking back Nigeria will come without violence. And that story is on page 27 and 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says no cause for alarm over fire incident. Supreme Court, we suspect foul play. This is coming from PDP this morning. And that story is on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says INEC to conduct mock accreditation of voters in Bayelsa, Imo, Kogi, October 11. Now, that story is on page 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. As well, we have a story here coming from Daily Sun that says tension in Benue as government adopt Commissioner, XLGA chairman. Another story here, the writer says, act barbaric, condemnable, unacceptable, and that is coming from the governor on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We have a story here that says nose or throat infection kills 453 in 9 months. Urgent vaccination efforts on the way. Suspected cases hit 11,000. And that story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. So we have a story here that says tribunal dismisses Jado Rhodes Viva's petitions, affirms Sanwo-Olu's election. And that story is on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says federal government begs for more time as labor meets to decide on indefinite strike. Nothing can be done until Tinubu is back. And now this is coming from Lalo, the Minister of Labor and Employment, on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from Daily Sun this morning. Daddy Chris, we have quite a lot.
First,
Yes.
let me ask, who is this royal man at the middle of this?
Okay,
This
this story here, the picture story here we have His Royal Majesty Igwe Emmanuel Ikechukwu Chukwuma Eze Indigbo Man of Koto Ivory and Lolo Ugonwa Mariam.
I like the one Lolo.
Lolo
Yes.
Chukwuma
Lolo. I like it. Lolo.
Ugoeze
Yes.
during the maiden year new Yam Festival.
All right.
Yes, Ohofia in Abidjan yesterday. Now, this is Igbo people representing well at Abidjan,
In Abidjan.
yesterday. Yes,
In Abidjan.
they did
Wow.
a new Yam Festival.
in Abidjan.
Yes, and this is their king over there. You know, Igbo people have a way of, for instance, in Abuja, they have a king there representing all the indigenes that are in Abuja. So this is something like that.
an Igwe, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Igwe, yes.
Okay,
It's
that's
quite
nice.
interesting.
Okay, all right. It's interesting.
Yes. And
Keep
then,
it anywhere. Why not? There should be leadership anywhere.
Yes.
And if we are anywhere, we should have a king. You know, why not?
Yes, yes. And then there's a major story here. First of all, let's go there that the KRIS Tinubu moves to stop Chicago University. Wants institution not to release details on gender. That is 1. Transcript. That is 2. Other academic records. 3. Only certificates.
I don't, like I said, I don't believe this story. I don't think it's real. If not, you can't stop a university in the United States from releasing those information unless there is a data protection, which I doubt. You understand? Under these circumstances, the university will do what they need to do if the need arises. But the question is, do you think this is really taking us forward or backwards?
No, but some things need to be checked very well. Or how would I put it? If you say, for instance, I graduated from I graduated from the University of Abuja, and somebody's telling me you are not from there. You forced your result, or you did this, you did that, and then I'm saying no, I am from that school. So it's left for the school, just for their own credibility as well, for their own name, not even you now.
Yes.
To say this person truly is our student. These are all the documents you need to ascertain the truth. So not telling us that restraining these people not to release some parts of your document is what people tend as something is fishy.
No, I understand.
Well, we'll see how that goes. And there's a blog coming from Kanu Emir Sanusi, hits APC hard, says government under ruling party has set Nigeria 40 years backwards. That is quite hard.
I think so. If PDP didn't do that well, let's just say that this current civilian regime, did set us seriously backward. Credit to Obasanjo for the good work he did, and then Yar'Adua would have done great. Good luck was trying. Sometimes I'm wondering, Princess, our leaders really that bad, or they don't know what to do. It's a big thing, and Sanusi is a man I respect, and if he's coming up with that, he must be talking from somewhere. Well, that's a little bit harsh. And only APC, I think all our government has done the best.
No, yes, but looking at it, right now it seems though the ruling party came with a lot of mandates, a lot of we'll do this, we'll do that, and then just what APC did 8 years prior to this time. And they came with that mantra of change, which a lot, not I believe a lot of Nigerians actually keyed into. And then after a while, they found out that the change they didn't even ask the kind of change. Is it change for better? Is it change for worse? Is it change to this? They didn't ask, and they were just very interested in, okay, we want change, right? Now it's the same thing. They are here this time. It's quite disheartening when leaders come to say they are thinking of what to do, they will see to it. I believe that during your campaigning time, you would have seen that Nigeria is like this. The economy is this. So this is what exactly I will do when I come in. For instance, you remove subsidy without thinking of how it will affect people or what you can do at that moment after removing subsidy. Now you brought palliative the first time you brought something to cushion the effect, you had to withdraw back because of the backlash from people. This shows that these people actually were not prepared or were not fully prepared. Let me say fully prepared.
Can we say this is a difficult task? Because the issue of the palliative, I don't like the palliative. I hate that word, But what we're supporting Nigeria at some point in time, the subsidy had to go. And he did the right thing. What I didn't understand is why now, if you take a decision that this is what I want to do, okay, Nigeria, you just need to carry us along. You understand?
But before that time, what we're supposed to do, because what they're still considering, there's a news I saw some days ago considering bringing back subsidy. These are the issues that KRIS. You were supposed to put measures in place.
We're not going back
to
to
an
subsidies.
extent.
We're not going back to subsidy. That would be a disaster. Nigeria. In fact, the thing is, these guys don't understand. What we're asking for is not even palliative or it's not subsidy, but just carry along. Tell us, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, this way will be, and let us see it happening. You understand? We're ready to make the sacrifice. Nigerians are making the sacrifice already. It's just like the last time they said they want to change currency, which we thought was a good move, but because of the public cry, understand? They went back.
It is not because of the public cry. I was in Nigeria.
Okay.
A lot of Nigerians actually, we were already there that, okay, the worst has happened.
Yes.
And all of a sudden,
after the whole sacrifice.
I think the problem is that our government cannot say something and stick to it head on and say, okay, this is it.
So, President, that's where the question is. Do you think it's because their intention might be good, but they can't stand?
They said it was because of election, so that people don't vote buying.
Yes.
At the end of the day, the new naira, then they kept going to court, coming from court, and at the end of the day, even the same APC, the same ruling party then had issues, and there was a major crisis talking about Aerofy and the rest of people saying, daring the president that you cannot do this. So it's as if the government cannot do something and stick to it that, okay, this is our decision and it's final. Well, we'll see how that goes. I have a story here, quite relieving that the adopted 13 students and other 3 regained freedom. Kudos to the security agencies for that.
What a shame. We're still talking about that at this time. Right.
But what can we do?
It's disheartening, Princess.
And then there's a story here coming from Obi. I want you to address.
Yes.
Obi says seeking investors abroad waste of time.
I agree completely. Okay, foreign investment.
But before you agree, now there was a time he also during his campaign he was coming here, campaigning here as well,
telling people to come and invest in Nigeria, right?
So where is this coming from?
No, you see, the point is, first, I think the most important thing is to first set the home up. We have enough investment, In my little book I'm trying to write now, I said, my hope of the 21st century, the hope of my time. And one of the biggest hope of our time is actually those of us in the diaspora. We have a lot we can invest in Nigeria, both knowledge, money, everything. So you can start to attract these people home. That's a start. But even at home, Princess, there's a lot you can do, for people to start making money at home. There's a lot of investment we can generate at home. Why are we not facing that? How can you take oil subsidies? Subsidy is good. Why don't you tell us in the next 2 years there will be a refinery? If Dangote, a single man, could have a refinery, how can a whole Nigeria not have one? So those are the things we're talking about. Dangote is not going to sell fuel for us at a better price, so our hope is not going to be better. But if the government is really making the right move now and say this is the way to go, then we know why we're taking subsidies. So there's a lot of investment opportunity at home. Why are Nigerians not investing at home? Why are Nigerians abroad not being encouraged to come and invest at home? The only way to do that is to create a very good atmosphere for us to come back. If you tell us now, one of the stories you said is a good news, but by the time I hear, hey, kidnappers, all the story, we want to come back to that kind of environment. It's hostile. Right now, Nigeria is a hostile environment, which is not supposed to be so. But that's one area they need to look at. You understand? There's a possibility, we have potentials. Like I always say, I'm a layman. I talk like a bushman. You see, if I have land, I have the people. So I will cultivate my land. Why am I looking for somebody else? This is the problem Africa has gotten from day one. You understand? Always looking outside for external solution. The solution is right there. They said you have the natural resources, you have the human resources. Cultivate your land. That's what Peter Obi is trying to say, and I completely agree with him.
Very well then. And there's a story here also that says federal government begs for more time as Labour meets to decide on indefinite strike. Nothing can be done until Tinubu is back. This is coming from the minister. So what is the job of a minister if he cannot do anything in the absence of the president?
Perhaps they need to have a cabinet meeting. Credit to the minister. But my position. I've always said if I come to Nigeria, the first office I want to have will be the office of the Labour. You understand? I want to run that Labour as an organization. I will take the government accountable. I hold them accountable 24/7. Like I believe what is going on, only Labour can save us. You understand? In a peaceful, civilized manner. They should not go. I don't think even strike is a simple strike is what we're talking about. The country should be, politicians should be held accountable. Labour can do that. Yeah? And
okay. And just before we go, we have a lot of other trending issues here, but we'll just talk on the no cause for alarm over fire incident. Now, this is coming from Supreme Court, and PDP is saying we suspect foul play. PDP. There was a fire outbreak.
I like that. What's one good thing about these two guys between PDP and APC? We know the drama PDP played in their time. So APC is kind of this is a return match, right? I'm not going to be dragged into whatever they do. I don't want to hear PDP and APC. As far as I'm concerned, I'm that please, I'm different. If we're talking of a change, it's not definitely not PDP. I'm sorry. Guys, I know you guys do, a lot of PDP guys that you hate me, but I don't like PDP right now because you did the same damage APC is doing now. We need a new hand. I don't know whether it's Labour or something new is needed.
Anyway, our sincere prayer is that we will not hear that the fire did affected the petitions or something. This is what we don't want to hear. We hope that documents, everything, evidences they are intact.
Christians, are you really hoping that there's something good is going to come out from that tribunal?
No, but people have rights.
I know, but are you sincerely hoping?
Anything can happen.
All right, let's hope so. With the Nigerian scene, somebody who is not in power was able to do what he did. Now he's in power, you're going to take him out of there. But back, I'm loyal.
And then just before we go ahead, we saw that there is a lot of tension coming from Benue. We do hope the security agencies will do something. People are adopted. There's so much tension there over kidnappings. And also this nose and throat infection. We do hope that appropriate authorities will do needful because they are saying urgent vaccine needed. Please do something about that. And also, tribunal dismisses Jando Viva's petitions, affirms Sowolu, Lagos State.
Wow, Sowolu sitting. What did you talk?
Sowolu.
Okay. So anyway, we're not hoping for. I wasn't looking for something different. Anyway, I like Sowolu because Lagos is moving. Even if I always say, if you are doing things wrong and provided we can see progress, you're carrying us along, then at least you have a future for us. They have a kind of future for Lagos State. I wish the rest of the country had that kind of plan.
Well, we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Daily Trust. Now, these are some of the headlines coming from the Daily Trust this morning. The major headline here says, experts decry government inaction as diphtheria spread to 18 states. And the rider says, Kano leads as disease kills 453, infects 7,202. Improve measures key to ending surge. And all the stories on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says 39,526 pending cases at appeal court, Justice Dagon Messam. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says customs intensifies action to contain illegal wildlife trade. And that story is on page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. There's a story here that says INEC to hold mock accreditation in Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa. That story is on page 11 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says FG opt for low-key independence anniversary, cities economic realities, cites economic realities, and that story is on page 5. I'm going to take that again. FG opts for low-key independence anniversary, cites economic realities. Well, we see how that go. And we have a story here that says Senate screen Cardoso, other CBN nominees today on page 27 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says government kidnapped Benue Commissioner, ex-LG chair. And that story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper.
The commissioner.
Benue Commissioner and ex.
Able to adopt him. These guys are strong.
And then we have a story here that says FG Zamfara's part over alleged deals with bandits. That story is on page 7 of the Daily Trust newspaper.
It's an interesting one.
Yes, these are all the stories we have coming from. We can see a picture there, not too clear, but picture story as well at the middle. I'm going to, Daddy Chris, I'm going to ask you, what do you think of this? We already discussed on this disease ravaging, especially the northern part of Nigeria, and improve measures key to ending surge. I don't want to believe there's a communicable disease or something like that.
Well, it's a bacterial disease. I think it's.
So I think they should do the needful.
Yes.
It's spreading really, really quick and fast. And then there's a story here as well that actually caught my attention. That says federal government opts for low-key independent anniversaries.
We're miserable. So that's the important thing.
Have we gotten to that stage? That is my question.
Yeah, of course. We've been there years ago. I mean, if you are not, we are not making progress, and all we do is celebrate, Money we used to celebrate, let's invest it on something good. People are hungry. We don't want the federal government spending some huge amount of money in the name of independence celebration.
But does that mean they will now reserve the money for us, the common man, or for the good of all? And these are the questions.
You see, it's a saying that the Hausa said, if you can pretend, then you can be good. At least let them pretend to be good. When they see it, you see, there's one thing. There's something you said. You say if you don't see it, it doesn't hurt, right?
Yes.
So I don't want to see it. So pretend that you're doing the right thing. People cannot be hungry and you're celebrating. Celebrating what? What is it that the government is really celebrating? What are we celebrating in the 63 years of Nigeria independence? It's a good thing we are 63 years old, but I don't think we should spend a lot of money celebrating. We should invest now. Like Peter said, invest at home.
Well,
the land. Yeah.
And then there's a Senate screen, Cardoso, other CBN nominees today. Paddy Senate. Your thoughts, right?
I won't say anything.
That is what most of Nigerians believe. So if you are in a good terms with them, sharp, just come and you go. Anyway, we see the outcome how that goes today.
In fact, the president spoke well of this guy. He was like he sold it, but I don't mind that. Sometimes as a president, you have to sell whatever you have to. Communication is the key in anything. I believe. You carry it along. He made us believe that he's a great guy. He worked with him in Lagos. He's bringing him in for that good reason to help Nigeria. If that is the case, I'm on for it. Until I see something wrong, I'll keep quiet.
Well, there's a story where, there's a story here that says government kidnapped Benue commissioner, ex local government chair.
And that boils down to the other one, where the federal government and the Zamfara state are having this issue.
Yes, over deals with bandits.
Exactly. You see, these are the things to talk about. By the time the states cannot even control or don't have a say in how they've been secured, the security apparatus in the country need a serious change. By the time a service commissioner can be added by the government, that is bad. And who are these people? Is it the deputy vice president that is negotiating? Because that man has security understanding. I like him for some reason. I begin to like him now. Our deputy vice president. Is he the one going to negotiate in Zafara? Who are these people? I can't wait to read that full story. Sincerely, it's disheartening. It is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, we'll move on quickly. We do hope that we get to a stage in Nigeria where people are free. You can just walk around, you can just do anything you have to do,
Yes.
not necessarily working with fear, feeling, oh, if I don't carry security, bodyguard, I'm not safe. No. I saw somebody here in abroad that says, when I asked, do you take your children home? That even me, I cannot go home. Not to talk of my children, which they talk about. So it has gotten to the stage, and we don't hope we'll pass there really soon. Now I move on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune, and these are some of the stories that we have coming from Tribune. The main headline here says twist in Akeredolu deputy feud. And the writer says Assembly Speaker raises alarm over threat to life, says a sacrifice placed near his lodge. Another writer says Deputy Governor held to court, seeks injunction against removal by Assembly. We have a served Deputy Governor, removal notice. Assembly orders Chief Judge to constitute panel to investigate Ayedatiwa. Now, this is the main headline here coming from the Tribune: twist in Akeredolu deputy feud, and that story is on page 16. I did have that show. Somebody I brought an analyst yesterday, activist on my show yesterday that spoke on this same issue. We're going to get to that. And we have a story here. I think we've taken that before. Federal governments and federal government trade words over negotiation with bandits on page 25 of Nigerian Tribune. We also have a story here that says varsity confirmed rescue of 13 students, 3 others. Police arrest impeached Ogu local government boss Adebayo on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune. And there's a story here that says fire God's session of Supreme Court. PDP demands investigation, and that story is on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune. There's a story here that says police confirm arrest of 19 suspect cultists in Ogun. That story is on page 14 of the Nigerian Tribune. We also have a story here that says tribunal upholds Sanwo-Olu's victory, dismisses PDP LP's petition. And that story is on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Now, these are all the stories we have, and we can see a picture story as well there that says bridge collapses on Enugu Port Harcourt Expressway. Quite sad. That is a horrible sight there.
You can see people,
stranded this way, stranded the other side. Yeah. But thank God, I just want to believe no life was lost, and that would be a good thing. And then there's another picture story as well that says we could see Trade Union Congress in solidarity with the Road Transport Employees Association of Nigeria protesting in Lagos State. Lagos State government ban on operation of, that is not too clear, but
the color people, they can be the one that can. Anyway.
So these are some of the stories we have coming from the Nigerian Tribune, and we also have a story here that says nomination open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize.
I can't wait to who gets that prize.
And that story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Diphtheria spread across 105 local governments in 18 states, kill 453 children. That story is on page 4. These are all the stories we have coming from the Tribune this morning.
Wow.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see this twist in Akeredoli's deputy field.
Quite interesting.
We saw that the Assembly Speaker raises alarm over threat to life, says sacrifice placed near his Lord. But do they not believe in juju and sacrifice or witchcraft?
No, that's not something. We don't.
That is
not the Nigerian law. You can practice it at home. You know, it's all about it. Sometimes when you stay too long in this country abroad, you just think we are being paranoid. And that's what I think. And because Nigeria believes everything. You understand? If somebody is sick, it's my grandma Makosa. I remember one of my lecturers said this: I smoke cigarettes. No one I have cough. I says my grandma. You know, sometimes we're looking forward to school.
And then the story goes on to say deputy governor heads to court, seek injunction against removal by assembly. We have served deputy governor removal notice. This is coming from the assembly. And assembly orders chief judge to constitute panel to investigate Ayedatiwa. And we know that he was, this is coming on the heat that he misused power. They are alleging that he actually misused the power as at the time the governor went on medical leave. He was away from the country. He became the governor just for a few months. And according to the governor, of course, and the ruling party in that state, alleging that he misused power and is trying to the move to become the governor. And also, he was the one that actually they started that rumor up and down, alleging that the governor is very, very down. He cannot come back. He's so sick. They were wishing him dead.
Yeah, wishing him is not a case in law. Listen, Akeredolu is I think he's a son, so he knows the legal implication of all this. He's doing the right thing. He's saying that if the guy is fine doing something, one thing, there's nothing one can do. But the guy should have known that when you try to step on the toes of your boss, and he comes back alive.
Yes,
he's going back alive. You're going to get the treatment. You're going to get the treatment. And we have a similar case in Edo State right now, where the governor and the deputy are having their. But it's good when two elephants fight. But sometimes it's good that when they fight, something gets revealed. Maybe it's good for us. Let them fight. Let them open up some worms. Some things for the interest of the public. It's only when these people are fighting. You see what is good right now? Because PDP and APC have issues. Certain things are coming out. Something we wouldn't know before. So if they are all friends, we'll be in trouble. So it's good that sometimes there's division in the government. So it helps us to, everyone begin to be careful. Because if I do this, they know this one may say, I don't know what this man will say to the public. So that helps us. We don't want you guys to be friends. We want you to be enemies. Both the governor and the deputy fight. It's good for us.
Anyway, we've seen some of the headlines in the other papers before, so we just move on. But before then, we'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with the reviews. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Nomination is ongoing. Contact us at info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or via +234 814 358 2856 or +447 459 513 619. Powered by SRO TV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, elevating good leadership in our world.
Hello, viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break. This is Wake Up Nigeria, and of course, we're still on the newspaper reviews. I'm going to continue from the Punch newspaper now, and these are some of the stories making waves. We have here Tinubu reviews documents as CBN investigators submit to interim report. And the writer says, Nigerians, we know what really went wrong and what brought us down. Now, this is coming from SGF. Another writer says CBN special investigators continues audits. FG link nations woes to bad governance. Now, all these stories on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says NYG athletes lament poor conditions, maltreatment, and you can see the picture there. That story is on page 7. I beg your pardon, is on page 35 of the Punch newspaper. And then we have a story here as well that says police arrest suspected Shagamu. That story is not very clear, so I'm going to skip that. And then we also have a story here that says impeachment. Now, this is coming the Ondo State Assembly saga. These are some of the stories we have coming from Punch because we can't get a clear picture of the other parts of the paper very well, where they have quite a lot as well coming from Punch.
What is this distressing image of?
Yes, this is the NYG athletes lament poor condition, maltreatment. That story is tied to that. That headline is tied to the picture.
These are athletes.
These are athletes. Now see them on the floor. This is how they live and this is how they sleep. Something about the sports in Nigeria. I didn't remember I brought Mr. Martis Odiete here, a sports analyst, that said when we talk about that sector in Nigeria should be declared state of emergency. It needs overhauling. You recall that during the last World Cup, FIFA did say they are going to pay directly to the players because they don't know what's going on with the body here. Yes, with the NFF here in Nigeria. So they are going to pay directly to the players. It has gotten to that.
What is shame?
It's that bad.
And this is what we're talking about. This is too cheap for the image of a country as big as Nigeria. How can FIFA be doing that? It's because of issues like this. By the time you maltreat your people in this way, maybe we shouldn't be putting this too much on the public domain. I'm ashamed. And it's not to treat our kids, those who are going to represent us in this way. Look at them on the floor. Last time Nigerian athletes were coming back after winning gold medals. They are gold medals. They got stranded in Turkey.
Yes,
they slept there at the airport. That's how bad it is. And Nigerian government did nothing. Sometimes, we speak to them.
We have
Princess, don't forget we are the international stage here, so we got to be very careful what we say about our people. It's a shame. It's a shame.
But it is what it is. They are not hidden either. These are the major headlines this morning. What can we do? And the other stories here that says FG to meet NSCS coach today. We've seen that stories before, and so we'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we have. And of course, let's quickly go to First News, and these are some of the stories coming from First News this morning. The major headline here says, I actually love the story. I even want Daddy KRIS to throw more light on that story this morning.
First News.
Yes, First News.
Leadership. Okay. I can't even look for the paper myself.
That is First News.
Is that First News?
And the major headline here says, my predecessor, Ishaku, emptied treasury before handing over. Now, this is coming from Taraba State Governor. Says I met nothing in state treasury start governance. What has he been doing? He has been there for how long?
Is it not
Many
the same
months.
state that is trying to pay coppers 85,000 naira? I got some good news coming from Taraba.
So
Must
where
be a
is
good
this coming
governor.
from?
Yeah, but no. He's saying that the other guy looted the treasury. That's what he's saying.
Nigeria, my
Wait,
country. This is so shameful. I don't know what to do with politicians, their promises, their tricky ways, and their I don't know what to say, but this is even not helping. This is shameful.
But Princess, the essence of this show is to awake Nigeria up. It's called Wake Up Nigeria. Look at this kind of distressing story. What are you doing about it? You understand? So this is what Wake Up Nigeria is really all about, to wake you up, to let you know this is what is happening in your doorstep. And don't forget, if you refuse to do something, that becomes the decision you make. And it may be the wrong one. Like if you don't vote, it will be recorded, no vote. You understand? Register, but no vote. It is still recorded. So it's a decision. You either vote or you don't vote. Whether you vote, it will be counted anyway. If you don't vote, it will still be counted as no vote. Exactly what is going on now. By the time we all refuse to do something, see, a governor is sitting, governor is crying out. And money, the treasury is empty. What can we do about it? What is the civil society doing? What are people talking about?
Very, very distressing news this morning. To say that there is no money to start governance, to start running the state. That means it's just there. So who is going to give them money? Federal government?
That's what we've been hearing now. That comes down to the same thing we're talking about. The only money, Taraba does not make their own money. They have a lot of resources. If they tell you what Taraba can
So why can't they generate resources? Why can't they generate money?
Same story across the country. None of these states, other than Lagos, can generate their own money. None. You see, you guys were clapping for your boyfriend. What's it called? River State Governor, your crush. He has all this money and he was busy constructing roads. You understand? Nothing. If the money from oil does not come to River State today, River State will be broke. If Delta does not receive money today, they are broke.
So why can't we start looking inward? Why can't we start doing something we can?
In fact, the state can make more money than the federal government, even as it is.
So we just, we just have to okay,
yes,
we have our resources.
Yes.
This is what we know we can produce on our own. This is not something the government will come and take from you or ask you. So we start generating resources from there. We start putting, and of course, in doing that, you also have, you're carrying the citizens along. You're having a job, employment here and there, carrying the youth along. So why can't we do that? Must we not rely every day? We sit down, we wait for government. If government is not here, we are not able to do anything. Look at this scenario now. My predecessor, Ishaku, emptied treasury before handing over Taraba governor.
Yes, it's not even the fact. My anger is not even the treasury that is empty. The fact that the former governor did nothing. You see, look at it. Lagos State today, if you don't pay money to Lagos State, they will survive. Because they've been able to create jobs, to create a source of revenue for themselves. Delta State doesn't do nothing. Taraba now, I'm sure there is nothing that's going to generate money for the state. So once the money that comes from the federal government, once they finish it, we are empty. Same with across the 36 states of the country, except Lagos. And we must watch that. We wake up, Nigeria should be waking up for this. You understand? How can you, a state, I'm not, this poor man I came to office, he want to work where he's looking for money to work. But sir, I'm sure if you look down, federal government must be giving you some allocation, I know that. Why don't you start from the small one? If you cannot start from 1 naira, you can start from 20 million. You understand? Start from what you have. No,
I know Taraba State is such a beautiful state with so much things they have within the state.
So much.
Anyway, we'll move on with some of the headlines we have here. There's another story coming from First News that says Inferno Supreme Court building Abuja on fire Monday morning. Of course, we can see the picture story there with so much fire coming from there. And then there's another story here that say Mali junta postpone presidential election. And then also,
I like those boys. They just do what they want, man.
And there's a story here as well that says Supreme Court inferno suspicious. Now this is coming from PDP. We've seen that before. And on the strike, we saw a story here that there's a story here that says strike. I have met one of your demands. Lalong asked LLC not to cripple economy. Now, there's a story here as well. This is coming from Obi. Obi resist pressure to lead mass protest against presidential election. That story, it's on front page of the First News, and that is coming from LP. We also have a story here that says netizen knock Pastor Bakare over comment on Mohbad's death. Now he did say that the Mohbad is not a good name. Mohbad would have done or be involved in something dubious as well before he died. And Nigerians, since yesterday, are not finding that comment funny. And then we have a story here also that say I have accepted bribe. I have never accepted bribe in my career, says Force P Arrow. Good one.
Which force? Is that the police?
Force P Arrow. Maybe we want to see the full story together. And there's a story here that says police arrest Ogu ex-council chair who accused Abiondu of diverting local government funds. Now these are the issues. Local government chairman addressed it, and once you dare to talk, is a problem. I did have that show here. Once you dare to speak, you will find yourself in really hot soup. And this is what is happening now. Police arrest ex-council chair who accused Abiondu of diverting local government funds.
You see, in fact, in fact, these are the issues Nigerians should be talking about. You understand? I thought if we want to save Nigeria, the money going to the local government should go straight to them, not through the governors. The last time you see the people, the like of them, River State Governor Wike running around saying that the federal government have no right to change the constitution because just say the money should be paid through the state. What are you doing with the money? Why should it be paid through you? Understand? See, there are three tiers of government. The local government are, like you said, they're dormant, doing nothing.
They don't do
and
anything.
they are the one in those days. Local government, they do provide pipe and water. They provide, little amenities. They have a role to play in society. In England here, the people that clear our beans, you even pay the local government council. If I don't pay my council tax, I'll be in trouble. But these are very, very, and you can see their impact in the society. But in Nigeria, we've reduced them. And again, all we hear again, Princess, you know the story, the money coming from the federal government is all we hear. So the local government cannot even generate a penny on their own. You see, it boils down to two things I'm saying. One, the money coming does not get to them. And number two, they are doing nothing to generate income on their own.
And I did ask, I remember I had in one of my other programs, I had one of the aspirants. He said, I did ask that question, how are you planning to generate funds on your own?
Yes.
And we are not talking about waiting or relying on your governor or the state.
The governor going to cut the money into 10. What will happen in that? Every local government in Delta State, for instance, they're entitled to about 300 and something million every month. The governor will cut it, they will give the local government chairman 50 million. But they share 1 million to the councillors. Chairman have 40 million. He's happy. But the fortune or the destiny of the people has been hijacked by the governors.
Funny enough, they are the one closest to the people.
The truth is, our major problem in Nigeria are our governors. I'm sorry, the governors are you see, let's analyze one thing. Have you seen any state in Nigeria where you have a governor, maybe PDP, or the local government chairman will be PDP? If it's APC, or the local government, because they are really oppressing
the people.
And the same governor are now the ones saying that the federal government is not giving them hand.
And now you see that just because somebody dared to say that he was diverting funds, local government funds, he has been arrested. And the police also that does not know their job.
Because why would they not? And what is what I say? Where to labor? You understand? Where is the labor? Where is in fact, some of these things can be better done by lawyers actually taking the federal government to court or taking this kind of state to court, so that the kind of people, this kind of local government chairman that was able to cry out, he will have the support of the people. This is what Wake Up is all about. You understand? We should be waking up, supporting this guy. We don't know if he has done anything wrong, fine. But if it is true that the state governor is really diverting the resources, we should be shouting. We should all be shouting. We want to know where the money. What is this guy talking about? Was he lying? Princess, this is sad. A country cannot move in this way.
At all. Anyway, we move on now to other
leadership.
stories we have. Yes.
Yes, okay.
Let's go to leadership newspaper right away.
We see, go to leadership, right?
Yes. And these are some of the stories we have coming from leadership. And the main headline here says, as NAS resumes, Akpabio Abbas moved to pacify aggrieved lawmakers. Are we still there? That story is on page 4 of leadership newspaper. And the writer says, to swap committees, members intensify lobby, budget, electoral act, economy, constitution review, top gender, Senate screen, new CBN governor, deputies today. I'm going to take this headline again because this is something that has to do capital, economy, and lawmakers and everything in one headline. And the headline says, as NAS resumes, Akpabio Abbas moved to pacify aggrieved lawmakers. And the writer says, to swap committees, members intensify lobby, budget, electoral act, economy, constitution review, top gender, Senate screens new CBN governor, deputies today. Now, all these stories on page 4 of the leadership newspaper as well. We'll have a story here that says, presidency mom over Tinubu's return after UNGA on page 4 of the leadership newspaper. We also have a story here that says the appeal court treats 1,209 petitions from 2023 elections, and that story is on page 7 of the leadership newspaper. We also have a story here that says no world leader invited for 63rd independence. This is coming from federal government. They didn't say they want a low-key anniversary. As regard to that, they decided not to involve others. Let's just be on our own. Let's reflect. Let's be sober for once. I love that. And then there's a story here also that says forest scarcity, NNPC sustain petrol supply with oil swap, and that story is on page 7 of the leadership newspaper. Now, these are all the stories. We also saw story of Nigerian record 453 deaths, 11,587 suspected diphtheria cases on page 7. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from leadership newspaper. We also have a story that say briefing trending, Supreme Court fire not linked to election appeal. That story is coming from daily leadership this morning. These are all the stories we have at the KRIS.
This happening here.
Which one?
This central image there.
Yes, we have a picture here, story telling us FCT minister and former Chief Justice of Nigeria. They are all in that picture. And it's cutting tape of commission, the Court of Appeal Training Center in Abuja. I bet that is the unveiling of the Court of Appeal.
Okay.
Court of Appeal Training Center in Abuja. You can see the FCT Minister, Yusuf Wike, Barrister Wike there, and the former Chief Justice. They are quite so much there. Kudos to them. And Daddy KRIS, I want us to deliberate more on this main headline before we move on to the next newspaper. We saw a story here that says, as NAS resumes, Akpabio Abbas moved to pacify aggrieved lawmakers. to swap committees, members intensify lobby, budgets, electoral acts, economy, constitution, review top agenda. And of course, we have Senate to screen new CBN governor deputies today.
Well, the screening is something we know is going to go through. Baba said so.
And
That's
so
who we
it's
are.
again.
Yeah. I mean, perhaps, Princess, to be sincere, all these things we're talking about, it comes down to one thing. Let me ask you this. Don't you think it is time, perhaps, I know you say, that we give Tinubu the chance to see whether he can even perform? Because this dragging here,
Are we dragging? He's already in the seat, so even with the dragging, with not dragging or not dragging, he should be performing.
Okay.
And sometimes when people talk, whether you do good, they will talk, you do bad, they will talk. So you're already in that pace.
So
You told us before now. And I remember one time I saw one of the headlines that says he did say that told ministers, senators, roll up your sleeve. We have a lot of work to do. It's not about, we already know how the country was before we came in. So this is no longer news that Nigeria is in a bad state.
But the old man is out of the country doing what he thinks is right.
It's always
fighting for bringing investment home. That's according to is he not working?
So why can't we look inward?
Good question. And perhaps that is
Nigeria, we have a lot. I was watching this man from what's that, Kenya? What's his name again?
okay.
I can't remember his name.
Lumumba.
Yes, I was watching one.
Hello,
Yes.
don't go there.
He was addressing Nigerians, and he told them, not even Nigerians. He was addressing in one of the African countries, and he did say that Nigerians, we have a lot. Nigerians have a lot. That only Nigerian economy, if properly utilized, can feed the whole of Africa. I didn't know where that came from, but
No, and that
he
is not
said so.
Princess, the thing is, I think your vice president said it in one of the headlines, that Nigeria hold the destiny of the black race. Let me use the word. Not just, when they say Africa, yes, but actually the black race. If Nigerian fail, the black man fail. See how deep that is. If Nigerian fail, the black man fail. Nelson Mandela recognized that. PLO Lumumba said that. Our vice president said that. That's to tell you we are all in one. But so meaning we cannot afford to fail. And so this whole story of this sheep kidnapping, you see, it's disheartening. Let's be talking about important things. You understand? Sheep stories. And people are being kidnapped. You understand? Now we cannot feed. Sheep disease is killing us. These are unacceptable in the 21st century. We have, like it's rightly said, we have so much. You see, we run away from the story of the local government now. I'll just quickly take you back there. We'll stop every local government in Nigeria to embark on just farming. It doesn't cost them more than $1 billion to give to every local government. Say, okay, if the federal government want to really put everybody to work, give every local government. If it cannot give 1 billion, give them 500 million. Let them go into farming. It doesn't mean that everybody must plant cassava. If you can't do cassava, do something. Nigeria will generate, and at the end of every 6 months, we now bring out what we have. And then we know, we put some to shame, we praise some. This is a country that can do better. This whole investment we're looking at to do, we can do it at home with small money. You see, the funniest thing is, you're looking for foreign investors to come in and spend a lot of money, but you can actually start with the small money we have. Local government is a solution. The state governors are our problem. They will not allow the little money coming to the local government to get there. The local government are sleeping, and we blame
Funny
the
enough, the
government.
state government already have so much. So why they do always slash?
Oh, they never. You see, the state governor. That's why when they finish, they want to be president. They are in fact, look at every state governor in Nigeria. Look at them carefully. You understand? They make so much money in that treasury because nobody is really looking at them. Everybody is blaming the federal government. Nobody actually blames the states. Have you heard people coming out openly to talk about what the state governors are doing? But look at the atrocity, oppressing their own people through the local government. Of course, what do you expect? So, and in that kind of society, you see the headlines today is on Akpabio and all that. What is happening at the state levels should be our concern. You understand? We should be bringing those things to the highlight. And even the local government, I'm happy that local government chairman, God will bless you. What have you done about it? Who is going to help that poor local government chairman? Probably going to be buried somewhere, put in prison to die. You understand? For saying the truth, that the governor has choose to loot, in fact, choose to rape his own people. That's the true word. You're raping your own people. You don't need this money. Do you know that a state governor in Nigeria gets security vote? Minimum is 1 billion naira today. That 1 billion is enough to change destinies of people. Come on, we have money. We have enough money. If the federal government have enough money to give to them as security vote, something they don't do anything, like your Delta State governor now, his security vote will be up to 2 billion. What is he doing with 2 billion? Peter was telling you that his money was too much, so he was giving back to the people. What are you doing with your security votes? So that's why when you see the governors, and that the money process, you have that not sum of money as security votes. And now, maybe the number of local governments in your state is about 25. They now have 300 million. You now take 200 million each every month from their money. That's your nice, because you're giving 100 million. Who gives a local government chairman 100 million? So imagine 200 million times 25 plus your security vote. We've not talked of your money. These are one coming to the governor's wallet first. No wonder people say anywhere I go. You can imagine, because the governors are actually our problems. No, in fact, you can blame the federal government as much as you want. That the federal government has failed doesn't mean the state must fail. And if the local government choose to do the right thing, they don't need even the state to work.
Funny enough, a lot of them, look at the one that spoke and ended up at the police cell or the police station. Of course. A lot of our local government, Shema, they live at the mercy of the state government, because it's as if they were handpicked.
Who put you there? I said now, look at every state in Nigeria. If you see the governor is APC, all the local government will be APC. If you see, like Delta State now will be PDP, go and look at all our local government chairmen. Who are you to try the governors? And we're there to try the federal government. You understand? Some states, we have different states, different parties. But try it in your local government, you will know whether that governor will not be on your neck. Look at what they are doing now between themselves and their deputy. In fact, have you heard something? Have you ever heard about House of Assemblies? Do you know whether they exist?
No.
What do they do? Share money? And the governor is also the one paying them. So in the past, that's why Buhari did something right too, by saying your money will go straight to them. Let's hope now they have independent, now they get paid by themselves, because at the end of the day, the governor was the one paying them. So if you just misbehave, they'll just remove you. I remember the case of the Delta State where they had to remove Buya because he wasn't loyal. In fact, this was only Cherif that was able to stay in that office for that long time because he was loyal. If he wasn't loyal, they'll kick him out.
There's a lot coming from Nigeria this morning. And then there's a story here just before we wrap up our leadership that says anxiety as labor meets on indefinite strike. I don't know, that word anxiety is what I'm not really happy with. We've been seeing meetings upon meetings, labor and federal government, and nothing is forthcoming. If you're saying you're shutting down, shut down, let's know you're serious. Now, people are beginning to feel the Nigerian Labour Congress, or not just the Nigerian Labour, the organized labor is just a one-toothless bulldog. If you're saying I am doing this, don't be saying I will, and then you keep going on closed door meetings. Nobody knows what's happening there. For how long can we just sit? How long do we sit or keep waiting? Today you threat you're going, tomorrow you're going. They should do something once and for all, so that we know this issue is taken care of.
But I forgive Labour sometimes, because they have to consider where the situation of the country, where is it going to help us or not. My only concern is they are not actually addressing the key issues, not these cheap things. You understand? Now, Labour can. I'm crying about the minimum wage in Nigeria. It is a good thing for us, for everybody, if they can actually help us to fight for minimum wage. It's long overdue. You cannot pay people. I'm happy that Taraba is going to pay coppers 85,000 naira, which is still too small. You understand? A minimum wage in Nigeria should be 400,000 minimum, and it will be good for every one of us. You understand? Because then the rich can be checkmated. You see, if the poor are hungry, you cannot sleep. Oh. You understand? It is better. I always say it was the rich people in Europe that introduced the welfare package. If you're not working, they give you money to eat because they want to sleep at night. Nigeria don't want to sleep at night, so they leave some people poor on the street. You think they're going to agree to that? While you are galvanizing with all their money, they will go to bed hungry and say you should go and sleep with your children. They won't let you sleep.
Anyway, we move on quickly to Vanguard
yes.
newspaper this morning, and these are some of the stories we have coming from Vanguard. The main headline here says, Insecurity, Zamfara governor alleges FG in secret talks with bandits. And the writer says, vows not to negotiate with bandits. Presidency keep mum. 7 abducted Zamfara University students. 7 abducted Zamfara University students. 3 construction workers rescued by troops. Total number of students rescued now 13. So that means we still have more in captivity. We pray that they are released. All the stories are on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says insecurity, poverty, others are stealing Nigerians' development. This is coming from ACF, and that story is on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says federal government to Nigerians, be patient with us on tough economy reform. FG to Nigerians, be patient with us on tough economic reforms. And that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says NNPP slams Kano tribunal over bandits terrorist claim. And that story as well is on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says Ide Malud, FG declares tomorrow public holiday on page 26 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says Tinubu has not reintroduced fuel subsidy. This is coming from APC, and that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. There's another story here that says Fire God's Supreme Court chamber destroys files, computers.
Now this
and
is going
that
more
story
detail.
is on page
Now,
8.
first time we heard that something is destroyed.
Yeah, I said it. I said
First time we heard
it.
that something is destroyed.
And we do hope these are not the petition cases, those files, this computer. This is not where you have evidence or anything that would jeopardize justice or anything. I'm just saying though.
In Jesus' name.
And then we have a story here that says strike. FG will soon conclude wage award to workers. This is coming from Landlord the Minister. And then there's a story here as well that says NNPC, NCDMB, IOS signs deed to introduce contracting cycle to 180 days, and that story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says we have over 39,526 pending cases, says appeal court precedent on page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, there's a story here that says 2023/2024 NPFL season to kick off September 30th. That is on page 31st of the Vanguard, 31 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. These are all the stories we have coming from Vanguard. We say happy Eid Madud to our Muslim faithfuls ahead of tomorrow. And then there's a story here that says federal government to Nigerians, be patient with us on tough economic reforms.
See, this is what I'm saying. If that is the case, then why throwing out some toffee ideology, what I call the goody ideology? When it come down, the strike, federal government will soon conclude wage award to workers. Those are toffee ideologies. I know workers, you want to receive this money. I want to analyze this to them a little. It's like when you eat a lot of sugar. Sugar is very sweet, right? You take in sugar, but the sugar is the only thing that actually destroys your body. You know, that's why at a particular age, they say don't eat sugar, don't take too much sugar. You understand? Sugar is sweet, but if you continue eating sugar, it's going to kill you. You understand? That is exactly. We don't need this your long story, this award to workers. We are ready to suffer. Increase the wages once and for all. It will checkmate the rich and the poor in the country. But invest. We're ready to sacrifice with the government to help us grow. Communicate with us. Tell us where you're going. You see, it's not about saying, oh, we want to do this. No, show us that today, tomorrow, there will be a refinery, there will be this, there will be that. Let the federal government come up with a plan to get us where we are. We are ready to suffer. We're already suffering. You know, that's exactly what we're looking
I don't
for.
think there's any hardship Nigerians have not seen. Talking about from that February up till now,
During the time when you don't have money,
your own money.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually died. A lot of people lost their lives that period. You go to the hospital, you're not able to pay cash,
Exactly.
you're not able to use your card, and people were actually dying. People couldn't eat for days. People couldn't move from point A to point B. And then that cap it all. We came on election, and people felt they were betrayed. People felt this.
And this man is carrying your government is carrying Bible now.
Yes, yes, carrying
Bible.
Bible.
Yes,
And
the
then
president,
we now saw that also, subsidy removal, something that was not even Nigerians did not see coming. And before you know, fuel just left from 190 something up to 500, 600, 700. What hardship can we say we've not seen before? And so we think we are actually patient with the government. It's just that they will have to sit up. That is what we're saying. Know what, like you said, we need to know what you're doing.
Yes.
You don't keep people in the dark because you feel you're doing economic reform.
we can work with you. We can understand. You understand? Like sometimes they underrate us. You say no subsidies. We are coping. You understand? We didn't go on the street to start fighting. Even the labor, I like labor. What they didn't go out and say, "Oh, because you received this, we're going to go on strike." No, they're telling us, "What are you going to do with the money?" You understand? Now you're saving this money. What are you doing with it? You understand? Which is good. Save the money, invest it at home, create jobs. You understand? That's what we want. Don't throw the money around again. Don't start giving us sugar to kill us more. Because it's like you take the real food from us, and now you're giving us sugar to kill us. You're killing us faster. You
And
understand?
then there's a story here that say fire God's Supreme Court chamber destroys FIE's computers. I did say it earlier that hope will not hear story of files were destroyed, evidence were destroyed, computers where they kept this and that, because that is where you have the hard copy and the soft copies. And now we're seeing that actually eventually some things were destroyed.
You know what I say, Princess? I pray may God give Nigerians the spirit to accept what they cannot change. Right? That's what I'm going to say. For me, the issue of this election is a bygone. You understand? I want us to move on. You understand? Let's see you see, sometimes allow God to make some decision for us. It's already a done deal. We've accepted our fate. Those of you that have so much power, take it. Do whatever you want to do with it. You understand?
I thought you said we should not leave things in God's hand because God has already given us the power to do this thing.
Princess,
so why are we bringing God into We've been calling God for years.
No, I said, may God give us the understanding to accept what we cannot change. That is not leaving it in God's hand. There are things which we cannot change. Let me put it this way, Princess. A man rape a woman, or you get married to her and you sleep with her. She's going to be pregnant if you sleep with her at the time when she's on ovulation. There's something God cannot change. You understand? So these are things we have to learn to accept that these are the way it is. God is not going to come and help us. Where we are now, we are in a position where we need understanding to move ahead as a nation. Now, it's not because of me, not because of you, not because of Peter Obi, not because of Atiku, but because of Nigeria. Nigeria needs to move on. You understand? And with this situation right now, I can't see election being turned around and now it's going to help Nigeria. You understand? So I say, let us move. However, let us see what the government is doing. Not only the federal government to the states. Because the federal government alone can't do nothing. Look at Lagos now can survive. Can the other states survive? Let us think outside the box. Let the local government become active. productivity can happen across this level will be relaxed. Let me repeat it. If productivity can happen at the state level, federal government, local government levels, the country would be busy. Nigeria will become a production site. That's what we're supposed to be. With the 200 million people, we should be a power. Now we are hungry, running across to other countries looking for a job to do, whereas we can create the job at home. So I cannot tell how we are not where we are. So it's not about these things. I said for the fire, burn the fires. Don't worry. But Nigeria need to move on. Let us concern ourselves today with the most important things. The state should be productive. The local government should be productive. Federal government, the money you're taking from us as subsidy, do not give it to us as sugar. Give it to us in the form of industry so that Nigeria can grow. I rest my case.
Yes, I bet that's all we'll be able to take today on our news reviews. Just before we go as well, Daddy KRIS. I don't know, but I feel like our politicians. Somebody did say in one African country that the politicians from Nigeria is as if they all have hearing what's it called, problem or something like that, because the more the people cry, the more they talk. Now, if you look at this local government issue we talked about, how come every other state it's peculiar with every other state? So we can't have a single state that say, okay, we're different, the local government we must work, or okay, let's the people choose who they want. So they will have to pick from the ruling party of each state. I don't know why it's so. And then we have issues of if you dare talk, you end up somewhere. And so for that reason, and this is another thing of caging people. We have the local government chairman, they are the closest to the people, the grassroots.
Yes.
And that is where development starts from.
Thank you.
That is where you have the vast land, the places you can even invest on, the places you can even create industries here and there. So why are they not shutting them up is what I don't get.
Jesus, let's think about it this way. If the federal government have workers, one of their workers is the local government. It's an apparatus of development. So any government that is not concerned about the productivity of the local government is already a failure. Local government as it is today in Africa should be our saving grace. Now there's going to be election in Delta State. I saw they inaugurate the new DC. Trust me, PDP will win all the election because everybody believes you have to follow, because that's what they have been told, follow the trend. And if you dare change, you receive the treatment. Princess, the implication is instead of our local government being productive, helping us, helping the country to grow, we're going down. I think the biggest challenge we have of our time, Nigerian leadership, are the governors. Like I said, the governor is oppressing the local government. The money will not get there. But that's one story. We didn't receive money. But another story is, what are you doing? Be productive. Think outside the box. A smart local government come to an office. He can make money. You understand? He can make money. He can collect some taxes. Other than taxes, he should be productive. You can farm. You see now, you know the funniest thing, Princess? Every year, federal government release so many youth corpers who have nothing to do.
Nothing to do, because at the end of the day,
nothing.
You just come out of that institution, there is no job, and a lot of people also, and because we don't have those skill acquisition background from school, and that is why a lot of people are saying it. Why not put something in school so that people do it? Or if you're to stay in school for 5 years, you take that course every year. Yes. In a way that if your passion is maybe carpentry, you have that. While you're having this, you're having the theory, you're having the practice.
The question is, why people study something that is not going to be useful to you anyway? You understand? The first thing is, if you know this course I'm studying, sociology is not going to give me a good job. Why don't I just go for carpentry? This is the thing. Counseling is good in education. But let's look at what we're talking about, Princess. Now, supposing our local government now take all the coppers in the state and say, oh, listen, instead of getting them to fake schools, dead schools that are, people using coppers, stupid schools, who are not even raping kids. So take this local government, take these coppers, they're part of your workforce. engage the community, embark on one big project. It could be educational project. It could be library, you understand, that you can offer some service and people pay. Or it could be, I believe in farm a lot, you understand? They can farm. Every local government, it's a duty for a local government in Nigeria to own a large farm, be it piggery, be it poultry, be it crops, bread crops. We should do that. You see what will happen, Princess? We will be producing enough food that we will sell to the rest of the world. The naira will begin to go up. Productivity will be at its peak. That is only local government.
Look at the exchange rate today. It's I don't understand. Look at naira to pound and dollar to. It's where are we going?
It's a shame. And we're clapping for ourselves. We're clapping for Tinubu. You know, the old man.
You just said we should give him a try.
No,
that
yes,
he's trying.
I didn't say he's trying, because Tinubu, the litmus test of any government for me is our local government have they started working. We should talk about the product. It's what Peter Beat is saying, that we don't need investors abroad. First, start with the ones you have. How can you have local government? You have workers. Tinubu will need to give them some small amount of money and charge all of them to go into production today, not tomorrow. You see, the day I remove oil subsidy, the first bulk of money goes to the local government. Start producing things. You understand? Engage your workers. You must pay them some amount of money, not beyond this. Because I am getting this money, I will understand if your profit is affected from the wages, but pay them. Everybody starts working in the farm. Because by the time a farmer gets 300,000, people will drop their job and go and work in the farm. That's how you get this kind of thing done. And then they will be productive. Not gone are the days where we farm with our hands.
Nice farming. And then, funny enough, we have the manpower, we have the land, we have the resources as well.
And we have the money. Princess, we have the money. What if you say, I take subsidy out? Beautiful, thank you, sir. We're not against that. Then use what you have. The state governors, I know, if I have any state governor that I own, like I own the investment pass. Because you know how much a state governor can generate if they choose to go into production. But they're all sleeping. They're waiting for federal government to bring money.
And that is why we're here today. Wake up. So our state governors, please wake up. This is Wake Up Nigeria. We're waking you up from your slumber. You're sleeping. We urge you to wake up. Even during the day, you're working in your office, you're driving, but you're sleeping. You tend to not see what the people are yearning for, what we are talking about, what we are crying for. And that is why we say, wake up, Nigerians. Wake up to the realities of things, and let's all hands be on deck. That would be a good place to wrap up the show today. Well, thank you so much, Daddy KRIS, for being on the show today.
Don't wake me up every morning, please. I don't can't do this.
I always do that.
Please.
I always do that.
Please.
And of course, viewers, thank you for being part of the show today. And before we go, don't forget to follow us on all social media handles. Do well to invite somebody to a page. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, now X, and of course, YouTube. Subscribe and hit on the notification bell. Invite somebody to the page. Let the person share as well. Share our content, and of course, do well to leave us with your comment. We'd love to hear from you. While you are out there, it's a beautiful Thursday morning. Don't drink and drive. Obey the traffic law, and please drive carefully. While you are out there, also be at peace with others. Peace is priceless, so let's always give peace a chance. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a beautiful day.
Hooray! The next President Show is here again. Are you aged between 18 and 30, smart, bold, and possess exceptional leadership skills? Do you have what it takes to be the next youth governor and future youth president? Then register free now at superiorradioandtelevision.com or call the number on the screen. The Next President reality TV show, moving politics out of the polite drawing room into the clamor of the streets.